Hi guys, I am revising for my AP Psychology test, and I wanted to bring you guys along and show you what I did when I really review a chapter. So today I'm reviewing Biological Bases of Behavior, and you can really adapt this to any class. So I'm going to show you how the process I go through to make these kind of review notes that summarize the entire chapter. I like to use my guidebook. It's just one of those like Princeton, Kaplan, and I'm using the 5 Steps to a 5 book, so it's just one of those guidebooks. And I start out by reading and highlighting the most important aspects of it. I find this really useful when I go ahead and take my notes. So as you can see, I start off by using my graph paper, which I'm taking from my calculus notebook, but oh well. I start off by labeling my subtopics as my main topics for my notes. I do this in kind of an outline format so that I know the big topics, and I like to draw a lot of diagrams and label everything just because I'm a very visual learner, and even if you're not, these visual tricks can really help you on test day no matter what class you're taking. So over here, as you can see, I just drew a little brain that I found on Google, and I'm writing down all of the things I tend to forget. One thing that's really important when making these notes is not to reiterate things you already know, but to write down things you're more likely to forget. So this way you're not wasting time, you're making good use of your time, and by writing stuff you don't know down, you're increasing the likelihood of you remembering it. I obviously did not make a little outline for every single chapter. That would be torturous. I did this for a few chapters, some of the more densely important chapters, as well as the more popular chapters that are tested on the AP test. And I used this, or I used a mind map which I made online. There are tons of online softwares you can use that are completely free. I will definitely be linking them below so you can check that out, but I used that, and I made some handwritten outlines that I could use. I also made sure to not define any words that I didn't need because I made a Quizlet for that. So that's another study tip. Make sure you make a Quizlet for all of your chapters because knowing your vocabulary is half the battle. If you have that, you could really make sense of any question and use your guessing skills that you've been learning since freaking pre-K to help you through it. I definitely suggest using your textbook along with your guidebook if you're using one, because they often go into a lot more detail than your guidebook will, and it can really clear up any misunderstandings. And if you've read your textbook during your actual course, it can actually remind you of things you learned during your lecture. So yeah, use all the resources you've gotten throughout the year. I use my lecture notes, I use my notes I took from the textbook, I use old vocabulary logs, old tests, literally anything you can get your hand on to make a very comprehensive note page. And then after that, you just rip the little fuzzies off if you have any, and you have your great notes that you can study from anytime you want. You can take these with you to school, to lunch, really anywhere. So as you can see on my notes, I used a pastel pink pen to label things, and I drew a lot of things even though I'm not an artist by any means. And I tried to make them funny to me so that I would remember any words or something that I needed to know, because it's your notes. Go ahead and say whatever you wanted to say about agonists and antagonists. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and tell me what your favorite way to study is.